Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I hope we're all having a good day and good afternoon. I am Angelica Dacanay from the Center for Energy, Ecology, and Development, and I will be your facilitator for today's webinar. Welcome to the Faces of Impact, JBIC and Japan's LNG Financing Harms Communities and the Planet webinar. Today, we will hear from the representatives of communities and civil society organizations from Bangladesh, Canada, Indonesia, Thailand, Mozambique, Philippines, Vietnam, and the United States about the impacts and challenges they're facing due to JBIC's financing and investment in gas and LNG projects in their own countries or home. We will also hear their demands on what JBIC and the Japanese government should be do moving forward. After that, if time permits, we will have a Q&A session. Please feel free to submit your questions in the chat or in the Q&A function throughout the event. We will try to get back to that at the end. Once again, thank you for participating, and we have a strong lineup of speakers, and we have great stories from them. Before we dive into the stories, we'll hear an introduction from Hiroki Osada, a campaigner from the Friends of the Earth Japan, about the key findings of the recently released JBIC report entitled Faces of Impact, JBIC and Japan's LNG Financing Harms Communities and the Planet. It's a consolidation of stories and visuals of the impacts of JBIC's financing across the world. Hiroki?
Yep, sorry, thank you everyone. Let me share the screen. Oops. Can everyone see the screen? Oh my god. My god, this is so wait a second. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can see the
Great,
screen.
great, great. Thank you, Anj, and hello everyone. I'm Hiroki Osada. Can everyone hear me very well? Great. Hello again. I'm Hiroki Osada, a campaigner from Friend of the Earth Japan, and we are so happy to finally publish this new report alongside the amazing colleagues joining us today. I'll briefly share the context and key findings of the report, focusing on three key questions. Why LNG? Why Japan? And why Faces of Impact? We have a diverse audience today, from climate experts to students eager to learn more about the current situation. So allow me to cover the basics to ensure we are all on the same page. So let's start with why LNG. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas, a type of fossil fuels used for energy. However, burning fossil fuels like LNG releases large amount of CO2, making it one of the biggest drivers of climate change. So far, we've continued burning fossil fuels, including gas, and the results, the global temperature went up by average of 1.3 degrees Celsius, edging dangerously close to the critical 1.5 degrees threshold. So crossing this threshold will trigger the most devastating and irreversible effects of climate change. At this point, as of January 2024, we have only 200 gigaton carbon budget left, which means that if we emit more than this, we will surpass the threshold. Currently, the world emits 40 gigaton of CO2 per year, meaning we will reach the limit by 2029, just 5 years away. With so little time and such a small carbon budget, it's critical to cut emissions immediately from the energy sector, which accounts for 86% of CO2 emissions. So we cannot keep using gas. This is why we must talk about LNG or fossil gas more broadly. So now, why Japan and what is JBIC? The answer is very simple. The Japanese government is financing gas projects globally on a massive scale through JBIC, the Japan Bank for International Cooperation. JBIC is a public financial institution fully owned by the Japanese government and overseen by the Ministry of Finance. Our new report reveals, for the first time, just how extensive JBIC's fossil gas finance is. Since January 2016, the year the Paris Agreement came into effect, JBIC has provided a staggering 18.6 billion US dollars to fossil gas projects. To put that into perspective, this is more than 4 times Japan's total contribution to the Green Climate Fund, which helps developing countries mitigate and adapt to climate change under the UNFCCC. Japan's support for gas didn't stop even after the 2022 G7 commitment, where G7 countries, including Japan, pledged to end direct support for overseas fossil fuels projects by the end of 2022. But since January 2023, after the G7 deadline, JBIC has still provided 3.9 billion US dollars for fossil gas projects, violating its pledge. Japan's financing of LNG extends to 26 fossil gas projects in 15 countries since 2016, meaning Japan is actively derailing global decarbonization effort. But this new report, sorry, this is supposed to be a Japanese map, but it doesn't show it. But this new report isn't just about the financial scale. It's about people, communities whose lives and environments have been deeply affected by these projects. This brings us to why faces of impact. The faces of impact, this new report provides the most comprehensive overview to date of the devastating impacts caused by JBIC's LNG financing, with stories from affected communities in Australia, Bangladesh, Canada, Indonesia, Mozambique, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and the United States. These stories are based on interviews conducted by civil society organizations with the impacted communities. For too long, LNG has been falsely praised as clean, cheap, and essential for development. But the reality, as this report clearly shows, is quite different. LNG is dirty. It causes cancer and respiratory diseases, as seen in the US. LNG is expensive. In Bangladesh, electricity from LNG costs 10 times more than domestic fuels. LNG doesn't contribute to development. In Mozambique, it has brought more struggles than benefits to local communities. The negative impacts of JBIC's LNG financing extend further. In the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand, these projects, including terminals, threaten marine biodiversity and the livelihoods of local fishers. In Canada and Australia, projects, including pipelines, have proceeded without obtaining free, prior, and informed consent, or FPIC, from indigenous peoples. This is just a brief summary, and our speakers will provide more details. But I want to emphasize one final point. This report isn't just about damage done. It's about growing resistance and hope. Across the globe, movements opposing JBIC's fossil gas financing are gaining momentum, and their voices are growing louder. In April 2024, a global protest mobilized people in 8 countries hosting JBIC financed fossil gas projects. Many media outlets covered the movement, sparking important conversation worldwide. Additionally, 96 civil society organizations from 26 countries and over 6,000 people signed a petition demanding that the Japanese government stop fossil fuel financing. This is why we've titled the report Faces of Impact. It highlights not only the negative impacts caused, but also the positive impact people are striving to make as more and more individuals standing up against JBIC's gas financing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiroki, for that context. It's very important that we know all this before we hear the stories of our different partners on the ground and share their stories. To kick us off with a great line of speakers, We have Dwi Sawung of Walhi from Indonesia. He is the campaign manager of spatial planning and infrastructure of Walhi, Indonesian Forum for the Environment. He has been supporting residents affected by large-scale energy and infrastructure development projects in West Java, such as coal-fired power plants and waste-to-power projects. The issue of fossil fuel plant is one of them. I give it away to Sawung.
Thank you, Anj. I'll share screen. Yeah. Today I will. My name is Awung. From Walhi. Today I want to share about the impact of LNG projects in Donggi Senoro. It's located in central Sulawesi, in the village of Uso, this Banggai Regency. Yeah, the location is here. We are directly checks and ask and investigate about the environmental and social impact felt by the farmers and fishermen in the Uso village. The location is here in the Sulawesi. This is the the projects. This project, the company, the Donggi Senoro, established in December 28, 2007, owned by the Sulawesi LNG Development Limited. This is this corporation between Mitsubishi 75%, Korean Gas 25%, and Indonesian side, Pertamina Hulu Energy 29%, and Medco Energy 11.1%. The construction started in 2011. The first gas flow in 2014. The first cargo going 2015. The main buyers is to go to Japan, JERA, 1 million tons per year, and Kyushu Electrics 300,000 tons per year. The others go to these main buyers, Korean Gas Corporation 700 tons per year. Also, beside the Donggi Senoro LNG project, there is Panca Amara Utama. This is ammonia plants. That's the gas is also from the fields that supply to the LNG. The capacity of the ammonia production is 700 metric tons per year. This Panca ammonia also including in Japan's transition projects. Yeah, they want to install also CCS, carbon capture and storage, both in the LNG and in the drillings, also in the this ammonia project. They also want to co-firing ammonia, but yeah, it's different case. They are the projects took for the LNG 100 hectare, for the Panca Amara Utama 200 hectares, and if we compare, it's around a quarter of the total village is occupied by the all of the gas projects there. The project financed by the JBIC is around $700 billion. It's going to the Mitsubishi. They got loan to Mitsubishi by JBIC. They also got insurance by the Nexi, $382 million US dollars. Also, Kexim give a guarantee 382 billion dollars. The other lenders go to MUFG and Mizuho and SMBC. Kexim also guaranteed for the Korean parts, Korean Exchange Banks and the Donghyuk banks. So it's like this is project finance between Japan and Koreans. Yeah, this is gas flarings in the LNG plants. They are flaring the gas that is toxic or they are didn't want to use for the LNG. The impacts going to the farmers there. When we see there's the leaves are become yellows, and it's because we suspect it's because of the acid rain resulted by the gas flaring. It's happened there. Several plants already like yellowing and dying. This is banana tree. Also, we suspected it's affected by the gas flaring. The banana is drying. Not only the leaves, yeah, but also the banana itself. The fruit itself become like a drying near to the LNG plant and the ammonia plant. Also the chili. We also suspected not only because of the gas, but also the heat that uh, affected for the near area to the plants. The heat also impacted to the plant near there. This plant also affected to the fishermen. They cannot access several places that used to be their fishing ground. They have a buoy that market that some area cannot pass by the fishermen, and they cannot access that area, and they have a guarded by the security, so they cannot now they cannot access the area that used to be their fishing ground. So the fishing ground now shrinking. Yeah, and if they can go further, but because this is a small fishermen, they're using a small boat, so it's more difficult for them if they are going to the open sea. This is the impact of the LNG there, impacted to the fishermen and to the farmers. We want to the Japanese government, yeah, to stop financing because they are want to be this LNG part of transition. We want they not to expand this LNG projects. Also extended the longer times because of the transition. They want to extend it this plan as part of the climate solution. Also, we want them to responsible for the impact of that happened to the fishermen and to the farmer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sawong. Clearly sends the message that in one project of JBIC that has financed in Indonesia, it affects fisher folks and farmers. And we will hear another story and a video message from Bangladesh communities also affected by JBIC's financing.
আমার আব্বা এখন নৌকা চালায়, আগে মাছ ধরতো। বিদ্যুৎ কোম্পানি হওয়ার পর আমরা আগে যে জায়গায় থাকতাম এখন আর সে জায়গায় থাকি না, এখন অন্য জায়গায় থাকি। আর নদীতে এখন আগের মতো মাছও পাওয়া যায় না। বিদ্যুৎ কোম্পানি প্রতি সপ্তাহ কোনো দিনে গরম পানি ছাড়ে, তো তখন তো মনে করেন নদীর পানিও গরম হয়ে যায়। গরম পানি ছাড়ার পর আমরা পরের দিন সকালে মরা মাছ ভাসতে দেখছি নদীতে, কালো পানি, দুর্গন্ধ। তো এই পানিতে গোসল কন, কাপড় ধোয়া কন, কোনোটাই করা যায় না। মনে করেন যেখান দিয়ে পানি ছাড়ে ওইখান দিয়ে 80 মিটারের মধ্যে কিন্তু যাওয়া নিষেধ। তো মাছের তো নিষেধ বোঝে না, ওরা তো অগো জায়গায় যাইবে। আমরা মাছ ধরার লোক, আমরা জানি নদীর ঠিক কোন জায়গায় মাছ থাকতে হবে, অগো থাকার জায়গা কমতেছে। বেশি ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত হয়েছে চরবালা কি আছে না, ওই জায়গার মানুষ। 200-র বেশি পরিবার ওই জায়গায় থাকে। আগে তারা মাছ বেচে খাইতো, চরের মানুষের কাছে শুনছি এখন আর মাছ তেমন পাওয়া যায় না নদীতে। অনেকে বাধ্য হইয়া 3 পুরুষ ধরে যে কাজ বাজ করতো সেগুলো পাল্টাইছে। টাকা পয়সার অবস্থাও বেশ খারাপ। এক চাচার কাছে শুনলাম গরুগুলো সব বিক্রি করে দিচ্ছে। কি করবে, গরু ছাগল যে এখানে চড়াইতো সেই জায়গায় তো আর নাই। বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্রগুলো তো আর এলাকার মানুষ তো কাজ পায় না, যারা কাউকে কাজ দেবে এগুলো মিথ্যা আশা। আবাদি জমি নাই, গরু ছাগল চড়ানোর জায়গা নাই, মাছেরও অভাব। একটা বিদ্যুৎ কোম্পানি হওয়ার কারণে ওই এলাকায় যে কি ক্ষতি হয় ওই এলাকার মানুষ ছাড়া কারো পক্ষে বোঝা সম্ভব না।
Now, may I call on Kanis Rabea from Clean Bangladesh to speak on their story.
So good evening, everyone. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you, Kanis.
Okay, thank you. So good evening, everyone. I'm Kanis, representing Clean Bangladesh. We are actively working in the energy and power sector, particularly opposing the expansion of fossil fuels and LNG in Bangladesh. After 3 years of tireless campaigning, we have recently seen a significant victory with the cancellation of several proposed LNG power plants and terminals. So today I would like to provide a short brief or overview what to say of the community experiences with the Megnagat 718 megawatt LNG power plant, which is funded by JBIC and JERA. During of our we actually visited the site and we witnessed the fissure firsthand. The plant discharged hot water into the river, and fortunately we see the hot water discharge moment. When our team measured the water temperature after releasing the hot water, it was alarming high. I will be you also we will saw a local community member's statement a minute before, and he was actually a community people, and his family actually victim. They shifted the other area for just grabbing their land, and they switch their home and all the things and wrap up their previous working, because they are actually habited to fishing. So the environment, if I tell about the environmental impacts, so environmental impacts, so LNG-based power plants are severe, actually severe, because the release of methane is very high. And additionally, the water discharge into the rivers can disrupt the natural ecosystem, causing river water pollutions and seriously harming the marine life and community life also. The destruction of marine ecosystem is not only affect biodiversity, but also a threat of livelihoods and communities that depends on fishing and healthy lives and also a healthy river. I just want to share a little financial explanation, because the particular power plant could incur the capacity charges ranging from approximately USD 51.13 million to 112.25 million annually. And it's over its lifespan of 22 years. Its cost could reach between 1.12 billion or to USD 2.7 billion, which is like 29 plus 1,000 crore in BDT. So these financial burdens are really high, and this weigh down the economy of Bangladesh. So that's all for today, and thank you everyone for giving me the place for talking something about JBIC financing in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you also, Kanis, for joining us in today's webinar. For our next speaker, we have someone from the Philippines. He is Maximo Bayubay, a fisher folk from Batangas and the Vice President of Local Fisher Folk Group, Bukluran ng Mangingisda sa Batangas. He is one of many fisher folks whose livelihoods are at risk due to the build-out of fossil gas projects in the Verde Island Passage. Casimo.
Good day to all participants in this meeting. I hope that you are enjoying your life there in the city, although we suffer most in our occupation as a fisherman because of this LNG plant. Since it has been erected, I don't know, I don't remember the day when it was started, but as of now, we are suffering from low cuts and even decrease to 1 kilo per night or for a 24-hour fishing. Aside from this, we experience pollution and fish kill because of this LNG plant, which was brought here in Batangas region. That's why we go to several countries, foreign countries in Europe, and just to say that we don't want this fossil gas. Either Japan or even those who funded this project, please do not, because we are the one who are affected most in this project. Pollution and even our cuts, our livelihood are affected most. And besides, if this project continue to operate, we know that we have global issues, which is climate change. We know that our planet or our environment are suffering from this. We must stop although we need energy, but there is a substitute, maybe a clean one, which was I think we can do something about it to our environment if we make a transition. So please stop this project as of now, because we suffer most. Even our children can't go to school. That's why we and I, as a fisherman, are requesting or pleading to JBIC and to other banks who supported this. Do not continue your project here in Batangas region or in the Philippines. The fisherman will die. So this is a campaign of more and more advocates to say to JBIC. I've been from Japan last June, first week of June, I remember, and we talked to them. I have a companion there and stayed for a week. Yet I am asking my colleague or my partner what is the response, and she felt sad because even as of now they have no good answer from JBIC or Misuho or SMBC or whatever. We thanks for our companion there in saying those people who manage the loan, whatever form it is, please stop, because we are the one who suffer most. You in Japan lives in the city, maybe have a prosperous life, but we here in the Philippines, as you continue to proceed or to continue doing your business here, we are not happy because we will die because of the low cost, the pollution, and I think our seas are very shallow, meaning once the carrier, the ocean vessels goes to the fishing ground, to our fishing ground, it may hit the substrate, and then what will happen? If it is corals, the coral will destroy. If it is the other substrate, say sandy or mud, the ship will not be in a correct position. The toxic chemicals was being scattered in the sea, and that will have big effect in our livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you, Casimo. Thank you for that very powerful message coming from the fisher folks of the Philippines. Now, we will move from the Philippines to Mozambique. There will be a video, and later, after the video, I will call on Kete that will be sharing her message as well.
Eta makala atili kuelewa kampuni vyaitiwenesha na we papa,
ila kama ni mkulima, kwa vile kampuni kama kampuni ikaida na tikalongea nao wakatiamba masuala mashamba tinatenda sensa na tinatenda akordu kwa numeni sote
imprezi yetu tali tindigwania nao pakota vanao vatwale area yetu kwa maungano letu vatuigwene na pamo na vanao na panelo baada vanao wakatwale mwitu na mashamba letu yela
Yo, Cabo Delgado hoje chora. O sorriso por detrás do Muciro hoje transformou-se em lágrima. Que riqueza esta que nos fez lutar, que riqueza esta que nos chama pobre, que riqueza esta que nos deixa sem terra, nos faz estrangeiros na nossa casa. Os colonizadores voltaram, o suor das armas voltaram. Cabo Delgado hoje chora, Cabo Delgado.
kupata sabuni kuputia nguje yetu tini pawa nyi tuni pawa tina sinja madengo tina nyakuwa madengo ya kulitika paluma kuna pata uniforme jawana mpaka lele pano kampuni kaida kuna tite yanga pano wepa tinalipa doni wepa kampuni mbele tikana tamanayo mpaka lele pangu temba wepa tinigaili kulipa tinigaili kulipa
vangu tangodashi wetu yela tindilipa uti bai tindigaili hata nalo sini kulipa kavili tindinuka tayari na pane wetu pa makala hapa tunawa kupata yela
atendita akordu akatendita akordu mashamba mene kulipa hapa tuwele basi kwa vile serikali kama serikali atiwele matatizo nayo ila kampuni
munigaili kulipa kidachi na wepa tinielewana nayo maelewano ya kampuni na wananchi tofauti wepa makala tiniyemwa na kampuni.
Os colonizadores voltaram, o suor das armas voltaram. Cabo Delgado hoje chora, Cabo Delgado hoje chora.
Ina maana mipa shamba yangu ikawa inikata barabara na sio mipa weka baadhi ya tuanimeni sote tiishi kijiji cha makala ati mashamba yetu yaniharibiwa na barabara na haki yetu atinamba kujipata mpaka leo hivi. Kwa vile na vyote tilembe tupate haki yetu sote sababu inaonekana jambo linopano kampuni ndilembelete sehemu ambaye yatilimite wepa na kama ni kampuni ilembelete sehemu yatilimite wepa na haki yetu wepa sote
na tuweni tindishanga mukoti utendela tuna maisha ni kukupana lima kavili na panelo tunkujugwa mwenu wakumana ng'olo kumaputu mutisaidie mwambange mwana wanao vaidi watupidela dietu tumanye kwashe kokota kukuna lima mwamo vanditimbanga mala lewe na balabala
nikana kuona yela yangu nuchu yangu wangupe itandiba kidilila kane nkulota yela yangu mwenu mutende dimongo wako mutujelele
I will now call on Kete from Mozambique. She is an activist and employee of Justica Ambiental since 2018 in the Extractivism, Human Rights, and Corporate Crimes Program, working with communities affected by Total Energies in Cabo Delgado. Kete?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Since 2012, the communities of the Afungi Peninsula have been living under the shadow of that project, which came to grab their lands and completely changed the livelihoods of the communities around that area. This video you've just seen shows the testimony of some of the hundreds of people affected by Total Energies LNG exploration project in Palma district in Cabo Delgado. 8 communities live today waiting for the project to fulfill the promises they made and to pay the compensation and receive the resettlement houses the project forced them to receive, even though they expressed their desire not to abandon their homes near to the sea where they could go to fish, and also the lands, the huge lands they have, extensive the lands they had to produce the food, to produce the different cultures they use to grow their food. Normally in Mozambique, we call it mashambas. And all those people lost their mashambas, which are the main source for their subsistence, for them to have something to eat. And today, because the project is not giving them substitution lands for them to grow their food, they are now suffering of starving, and they are asking the support coming for the government or for civil society for them to see how can they feed their families and their children. Studies also shows that this project is a part of the 6 carbon bombs, increasing the risk of Mozambique's exposure to climate change. Mozambique is one of the most vulnerable countries in Africa and one of the most poor in the world. And we are already facing the impacts of climate change in our country. That's why in 2019, we had the Idai cyclone and also the Kenneth. The frequency and intensity of the disasters are growing each year. And because of these projects, and in Mozambique, we now, our government is investing in a development model that is making the communities lose their lands, but also being more exposure to climate change. In addition of that, the terrorist attacks that have been taking place in Cabo Delgado since 2017 put this same community, also put in risk their physical integrity. They are living under the imminence of any attack at any moment, because we have 17 districts in Cabo Delgado where the insurgency started in 2017, and until today, we don't see any solution for these insurgencies, these terrorism attacks that are occurring in that area. And somehow, studies already shows that this project also contributes indirectly to these attacks. The levels of corruption have increased in our country, with the case of the hidden debts topping the list and increases the poverty levels in Mozambique. Now we are in a process of elections, and we are waiting for the results. But people are not happy with what is happening, because we are still seeing that the government is going to resume, for the Frelimo party will resume the power, and that not express the willing of the Mozambican people. And all of these problems are making our people getting more and more poor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kete, for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. And we hope that everyone is safe there in Mozambique. For our next speaker or next country, unfortunately, the speaker on Vietnam won't be able to join us, but sent us a message, which I will be reading on Vietnam, about its impacts also of JBIC's gas financing. I'll just read it. Vietnam is hosting Southeast Asia's longest river, the Mekong Delta, and is the cornerstone of Vietnam's agriculture, food security, and important biodiversity. It is also known as the world's largest inland fishery with the fish migration routes. The Mekong Delta is also home to critically the endangered species like Irrawaddy dolphins, which means this ecosystem is vital to Vietnam and the region. However, it faces mounting challenges from gas expansions, just like the other countries in Southeast Asia. About 64% of Vietnam's gas capacity by 2030 will be around the Mekong Delta. An example of that is Japan Bank for International Cooperation, or JBIC's decision to co-finance about $415 million, or nearly half of the 832 million total of the project, to loan to the Vietnam Block B gas field. The Block B gas project, located in the Mekong Delta region in the southern of Vietnam, includes the construction of pipelines connecting to Omon Power Complex. This will definitely impact the biodiversity of Vietnam. Japan and Vietnam both pledged to reduce emissions and reach net zero by 2050. By supporting the Block B development, however, it is a clear contradiction of their climate commitments. Japan should do better on this decarbonization momentum by redirecting financing towards the deployment of integration of renewable energy, while Vietnam should harness its rich renewable resources to leap towards the energy transition. This is the message from the our supposed speaker on Vietnam, and in solidarity with our partners also in Vietnam who are unable to join us because of their very restricted space. For our next speaker, or next video message rather, we have a video message from the United States.
JBIC stopped financing fossil fuel export terminals. These LNG export terminals are not clean, are not green, are destroying our communities, destroying the livelihoods of so many people here. And false solutions like carbon capture, decarbonization of LNG. There's no solution in continuing to extract carbon from underground and adding it to the atmosphere.
Why the expansion of Freeport LNG in the city of Freeport, Texas, is real. There needs not to be, and in my opinion, we shouldn't have an LNG facility after what happened during the last explosion. When it comes to the impact on our community, it's a problem. We have poverty. We have a low economy in our city. Our city is in shutters. And the thing about it is, these neighbors come into the community and say they're going to bring a lot of tax dollars. They're going to boost the economy in our city. Our city is going to grow, but they never grows. And for a city that has 15 different pollinated petrochemical plants and oil pipelines, biggest plants, our biggest name in plants around, like Dow Chemical, BASF, Global, Side Group, Phillips, Schenectady, all these plants there, and Olin, all of these plants in the city of Freeport, and there's 15 of them in the city of Freeport, economically wise, is dead, and it's listed under the federal poverty level. So you have trillion-dollar companies within the city of Freeport, but the city of Freeport is not reflecting the trillion-dollar companies that's good operating within our city. Y'all make plenty of money, but where's the money in the city of Freeport? You know, where's the money for the people that live in the city of Freeport? What's going on here? Because I'm seeing people are getting rich, but the citizens are getting poor and sicker.
For our next speaker, we have Dr. Somnuk from the EEC Watch. He is the research director from Thailand.
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon from Thailand. My name is Somnuk. Japanese people can call me very easy, Somunuku, because the Japanese in Thailand call me like that. Okay. For my slide, actually, LNG in Thailand, yesterday, my staff, Mr. Pawat, already talked about it. So today, I will talk about JBIC and gas-fired power plant in Thailand. I will call in short is gas power plant. Next slide, please. Okay. A lot of Japanese language. Okay. I use my presentation together. Actually, I will talk about GAF. GAF is the biggest independent power plant company in Thailand. The owner is Thai people, and right now they are in the stock exchange market of Thailand. In the same time that we got military the coup. It means we got the military the coup in 2014, and military the coup they try to change Eastern Seaboard. Eastern Seaboard is the east of Thailand. Previously, in the 80s era, the Japanese investment, JICA, even JBIC also active to develop oil and gas and petrochemical industry in this area. It looks like Japanese government try to export the polluted industry to Thailand and to the east of Thailand. At that time, we got Chonburi and Rayong as the Japanese base. Together with the Detroit of Asia for automotive maker from Japan, and later on we also got the automotive maker from US and from Europe. Then after military the coup in Thailand, they announced Eastern Seaboard to be EEC or Eastern Economic Corridor. This is a part of Special Economic Zone linking to BRI or Belt and Road Initiative that initiated by China policy. Okay, I think everyone know very well that China try to build one belt, one road, and try to going south to the Southeast Asian as well. Okay, so EEC and Eastern Seaboard now the same, but they develop together. Eastern Seaboard developed for the oil industry, and EC developed for the new industry, so-called new S-curve. And GAF also found the opportunity in the EC. They try to establish the new power plant, mainly Gulf, doing the gas power plant in Thailand. Totally, current operation in Thailand, they supply about 8,300 something megawatt, and also have the new plant under construction about 4,700 something megawatt. So totally, in the near future, we will have at least 13,000 megawatt to supply for Thai people, Thai industry, and so on. Okay, so Thailand overall gas power plant that's already in operation is about 22 plants, and it's still under construction about 3 plants. And in the EEC zone, 2 plants of them are financed by JBIC. Okay, totally 2 plants is 5,300 megawatt. Okay, and the total loan that JBIC gave to GAF is 435 million US dollar. One plant already finished the construction and operate, make money. Okay, and another plant is still under construction and will finish next year. And you know, both plants that JBIC supply the finance is only far away 10 kilometers from each other. According to Thailand EAA, they allow to access each power plant separately. If we do as the international EAA, we will see that 2 plants would not stay together. But I think JBIC is international bank, and they know very well about international EAA process, why they agree to loan money for 2 plants together that nearby only 10 kilometers. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So when you see GAF as the biggest gas power plant, this picture will show you electrical capacity ranked by type of fuel in last year. Okay, totally we have fossil portion and renewable portion for electricity. Totally 53,000 something megawatt. Okay, for fossil side at the left-hand side, we have about 38,000 megawatt, and the big contribution is gas. Is right now 31,330 megawatt. And if you remember, for Gulf, they have their own gas power plant supply. In the near future, it's 13,000 something megawatt. So almost 50% from Gulf. So Gulf will really rich, and they will make the gas power plant going more and more. They could not move out. I mean, Thailand could not move out from the gas fire power plant anymore. Okay. See the right hand side. Sorry. See the right hand side. Renewable energy. Renewable energy increasing to be 15,000 megawatt. But if you look carefully for the I like in English hydro power plant in Laos. This one we still electricity, not still, actually we buy from Lao PDR. It's the hydropower plant. Everyone may think that hydropower plant is clean, but actually it's not clean. And another side, we also buying hydropower plant from our local power plant in Thailand. Okay, next slide, please. So when JBIC help Gulf to going rich, so they have enough profit, enough cash flow, enough money to do many things. For example, the land reclamation for Mataput industrial port phase 3. This one of the 5 mega projects for EEZ or special economic zone in the east. The site for land reclamation is 160 hectares. This is a joint venture between Gulf and the Industrial Electrical Authority of Thailand, or the government side. And Gulf also built on this land reclamation we call LNG terminal. They will have 2 LNG terminal. The first one will contain 5 million tons per year, and the second phase will contain 5.8 million tons per year. Totally is about 12 million tons per year that we have import-export for LNG terminal internationally. Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. And if you remember that I'm talking about the hydropower plant is not the clean energy, because the hydropower plant right now build a lot in the Mekong region. On the top, you will see the red color. The red color is the hydropower plant and the dam made by mainland China. Okay, and also effect, what we call effect is the backwater effect to Thailand and to Laos as well. Okay, then for Gulf itself, Gulf also have the new project. They will build hydropower plant in Laos, not in Thailand, and they will loan the money from local bank, and they will sell the electricity back to Thailand. So look like Gulf use resource from Lao area and build electricity and sell back to Thailand. Another thing is that when you build a dam, like the live photo that I show you, the dam will block the water in Mekong River, and it will affect what we call backwater effect. It means we can get flood. And other thing is that people in the Lao area along the river that they build this dam. Right now, I got the number at 26 villagers in the 3 provinces of Udom Sai, Sayaburi, and Bo Kaeo in Lao PDR was directly impacted by the project, with a total of 923 families or over 4,700 people affected. I mean, 4,700 people have to migrate. So this land will be no more village. And other thing is that the backwater will affect to Chiang Rai province. Chiang Rai is the northern of Thailand. Anyone went to Chiang Rai before, you will know it's very beautiful nearby Mekong River. It will and the damage of agricultural area by the hydropower plant. So look like JBIC doing what we call butterfly effect, that graph can have the left hand side for fossil energy and the right hand side for renewable energy, but both hands affected direct to people in Thai and Laos. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samnuk, for sharing your story and for also reminding us that any development we always remember that no one should be left behind. Thank you for that story. For our last speaker and country to talk about, we have a video message from Chief Namuk from Canada. He is a hereditary chief of Sayu of one of the 5 clans of the West Suet Nation. The traditional name he carries is thousands of years old. The duties of the chief are to protect the entirety of 22,000 square kilometers of their territory, and they should be responsible to protect for the generations to come.
Hello, I am Chief Namox. I am a hereditary chief of the Wet'suwet'en Nation. We have 22,000 square kilometers of unceded, undefeated, and non-treaty lands in north-central British Columbia. We are the authority on the land, as proven by the Supreme Court of Canada's decision in 1997, that we exist, we have authority and a jurisdiction. I want to talk to JBIC about their investment in LNG Canada, which ties to the CGL pipeline, which goes through our territory. We will never support that pipeline. It is the 6th largest carbon bomb on the planet. We will never stand for that. We want to protect what is ours. We've never wanted more. We just simply want to protect what is there. We want to protect what is best for this planet, for the future, for the generations. We understand the bottom line is money. Our bottom line is future. Our bottom line is our children, your children, all children. And to do that, you must not invest in these projects. There are better alternatives out there. You know that, we know that. Just take your money and put it where it belongs, not keep encouraging this violence on our territory, the destruction of the lands. We have human rights and they're constantly being abused. And it is that money that you send to them that supports it. When we talk about a future, it is everybody's future, the betterment of all. And that means divesting and keeping your money out of these projects. The amount of money you have, that is heading here. $850 million US can be spent in better ways. Messiah, thank you.
Now I will call on Eva Garofalo from Canada. She is a global sustainability consultant with 10 years of experience working with communities and organizations on environmental campaigns. She is from the unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsile-Watu peoples of Canada and British Columbia. Eva?
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join today. So I'm going to be providing some more context and additional information on JBIC's investment in LNG Canada and what's going on in British Columbia. So I hope you keep the facts I'm going to share in mind while you remember Chief Namox's words and also read the report on the undermining.org website. So the first thing I'd like to point out is that the export facility called LNG Canada is often talked about alone when in fact it has multiple other parts that are required to make the project functional. And what I mean by that is, of course, there's the export facility. It also has plans to double in size. Currently, it is 14 megatons of CO2 every single year. So that expansion is quite significant. As Chief Namox mentioned, the Coastal GasLink pipeline is an essential piece of this project. It's what transports the gas from the fracking fields to the export facility. And then lastly, we have the fracking fields, which is actually the world's 6th largest carbon bomb. So keeping in mind all these components is significant because when you want to discuss the climate and community impacts of a project, if you're only going to look at a portion of that project, you're only going to understand a portion of what's really going on and most likely miss some key information. So that's why when you read the report, you'll see that it mentions every single one of these components. And to get a better sense of where this project is essentially, this is the Pacific Ocean. Everything down here is America, and then Canada is right up here. So if we zoom in, we can see LNG Canada, this red dot with access to the Pacific Ocean. We have the red line, which is the Coastal GasLink pipeline. And everything within this pink boundary is Wet'suwet'en territory. As Chief Demox just mentioned, it's approximately 22,000 square kilometers in size, which is quite large. And this visual helps you understand how interconnected the project is, that it goes directly through Wet'suwet'en territory, and it has done so through militarized violence and without consent of the hereditary chief, which is the governing decision-making body of the nation. And that it's completely interconnected and right beside the export facility itself. The next thing I'd like to draw everyone's attention to is a series of unfortunate events that started in 2021. So in 2021, the British Columbia, the province, faced unprecedented floods that wiped out our highways. And as you can see, quite dramatically and quite dangerous. That same year, we experienced a heat dome where temperatures across the province reached 50 degrees, 50. Over 600 people died and an entire town burned to the ground. When I say an entire town, I mean every standing piece of infrastructure burned to the ground. As a result of the climate emergency becoming completely unavoidable, a coalition was born. And this coalition represented about 200 organizations to start, calling on the British Columbian government to take action and to adjust their policies, regulations, and legislation to not only meet their own climate targets, but to enact new climate targets that address the climate emergency. And they do this through a variety of ways. Every year, they have a progress report that analyzes the government's policies, regulations, and legislations to see how it is meeting in every single sector. And as you can see, every single sector received a failing or minor progress grade. There is also an area that says rapidly wind down all fossil fuel production and use, failing grade. And the reason why this is significant in this area, because it represents 2.2 million British Columbians in their solidarity to say that the British Columbian government has not done enough to meet its own climate targets. Its policy and regulations need to rapidly change. And further data that we see to support this claim came out of the Pembina Institute, which I find extremely comprehensive. So here we can see this orange line, and that orange line represents the climate target that the BC government has set for ourselves, for themselves. This first box that's a little bit gray, green, brown, are the emissions from just LNG Canada and another project called Woodfibre LNG. You can see that just those two projects alone greatly exceed the own targets of our government. And this is significant because it shows that LNG Canada simply does not make sense for the own policies and regulations that our government has set for ourselves. Even just a few days ago, through the International Energy Agency, they produced a new report called the World Energy Outlook. And I think there's a couple of quotes here from their executive director that's extremely important. The first is recognizing that we are now entering an age of electricity. And what this means to me is that we are now in the sustainable transition, the fossil fuel-free energy project transition. We understand that in the past, there was the age of coal, there was the age of oil. Now we have moved past that. More so, that when we analyze the entire world, the policies in place across the globe, we can see that the current policies do not result in a decline of emissions. And that's extremely significant to understand when we talk about LNG projects across the world. And the last thing is when we look at the LNG markets and we analyze the supply and demand needs, we see that there's actually a reduction in the utilization of facilities. And what that means is that LNG facilities that already exist will not be able to operate at full capacity, which means you have to seriously question if they can even meet the economic promises that they have made. So from a business angle, when we look at LNG Canada and the pipeline and the fracking fields, and we consider the environmental aspects, and you see what is really going on in British Columbia, it's not a smart investment. When we look at the social aspects and we start to question, is there social support across the province? There isn't. I showed you just one example representing 2.2 million British Columbians. And when we ask ourselves about the governance in terms of this investment, are there strong enough policies and regulations that will provide a reliable source for these projects? No. We know that there needs to be rapid change quite quickly that the government has committed to doing themselves. But aside from this business angle, the most important thing are people, our communities, and their homes. And that's what I find so beautiful about this effort, the report, and the dirtyfinancing.org website, because it highlights the community impacts. And the most important thing to remember is that these projects have been done using militarized violence and international human rights violations. It is not a story of Canada that the world expects to hear, and it is quite traumatic and difficult to understand. So if you have time to review the report, I highly recommend it. There's also an award-winning documentary that is mentioned in the report. So if any of these links interest you, please feel free to take a screenshot and look at them later on. And the last thing I'll end on is directly referencing to JBIC. You are financing fossil fuel projects that are directly harming communities and the environment. You have a responsibility to take accountability, but luckily there are alternatives that you can invest in instead. And I encourage you to do that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Eva, and for that very powerful closing message from you that there are other investments where JBIC can channel their funds. Again, thank you for all the speakers that we have. We heard from different countries, a total of around 8 countries across the world. And we see that their experiences, their stories on how JBIC has been impacting their lives negatively is clearly a trend of destruction that is seen and felt across all these different countries. Now, we will open the floor for questions or clarifications that you might have for our speakers. You may use the Q&A function in Zoom. If you prefer to ask in Japanese, you can also do that in the Q&A function. We have translators to do that. Yeah, so you can use the Q&A function if you have any questions. We have some questions that were answered already a while ago. We will be publishing this webinar online, and we hope we can send to you the link to the webinar video if you have sent your contact details or email addresses to us. We'll definitely share this to everyone, so you would be able to check again the video. I'm not seeing any questions so far. I'll ask our panel of speakers if there are maybe last messages or additional insights that you might have from the series of speakers and messages that you just heard and seen also. We have a bit of a luxury of time to do that.
Okay, from Thailand. Okay, actually, I have some experience to share with everyone to aware about carbon emission trap. Similar to my presentation, that one hand they do fossil, but another hand they also do renewable. This is happen, I think, worldwide. But in Thailand is they play more trick because they also use a lot of resources for both fossil and renewable. For example, we have car manufacturer from Chinese, I mean EV, BEV car. At least 6 brands, 6 manufacturer from China start production the EV car in Thailand. Some under construction, some just bought the land in the EC area. And the EV car is great, but if we look into the carbon footprint, the electricity is still mainly contributed by gas-fired power plant. So this is the way we are doing carbon emission or what? So this is a big question that everyone have to think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Somnuk, for sharing that. We have two questions on our Q&A. One is, I think we make green energy. We need rare metals or other resources to build up facilities. Considering that, how do you think we can transform our energy? I think it's also linked to the second question, a bit of a similar question. Can any of you share an idea on any alternative business model which can be profitable for the community? Anyone from the panelists who can share?
I'm happy to provide a response. So the nice thing about the sustainable transition is that it can be extremely creative and extremely dependent on the communities at hand. So every single community and part of the world is going to have a different option for what makes sense for them. And that's solely dependent on what resources they have access to and what makes sense. So there isn't one clear answer, but there are examples across the entire world that you can look to. For example, there's a community on the southern part of Vancouver Island. They're called Sauk. And they've created a solar panel project to power their own farms and produce resource and profits that way. It's also a quick Google. There's fossil fuel-free cities. The Indigenous Clean Energy Network has a variety of examples of how communities can establish fossil fuel-free projects to create a profit for their communities. And in terms of the transition to use what resources you need to make it happen, I think it will take resources and it will take minerals, but the most important thing is that we have our investors and financiers to stop expanding the LNG market, which is a direct competitor to the sustainable transition and those energy projects, and start moving those finances over to sustainable energy projects so that they're able to develop in a way that are reliable for communities and profitable as well.
Thank you, Eva. I'll just call on Josue from Friends of the Earth Japan to also answer to the question.
I think it would be much greater that Sawun of Walhi.
Yeah. Sawun?
Or the first question or?
The first question on
About the transition minerals.
Yeah, the rare minerals or other resources to build up facilities. Considering that, how do you think we can transform our energy?
Yeah. That's happened. The mining now used to be we took circular materials, but it's not yet happened. Used to be we are moved to if we want to have a net zero, we used to be now change our system. That's not using the virgin materials. So we need to mining not in the forest area, or now they want to plant also in the deep sea, but we mining that material already we use. I think is one of part of the energy transition for materials, yeah. Because when we see the most mining now, they're using transition for the reason of the mining, but actually the biggest part for this materials is used business as usual, yeah. Like nickel in Indonesia, they use business as usual. Also coppers, there is big and old coppers mining in Indonesia. They're using business as usual, not part of the transition. Also the tin mining, but I don't know the lithium, yeah, because in Indonesia we don't have lithiums. So for the material that's mined in Indonesia, they are the biggest part is not using for the energy transition or for the renewable energy, but for the business as usual. That's answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Sawang, for your insights. I'll just go to the next question, which I think Hiroki from Friends of the Earth Japan will respond to. Does the 18.6 billion also include JBIC's indirect financing through financial intermediaries, if any?
Yes, the answer is yes. It includes the corporate financing. For example, corporate financing to HMP, a Singaporean a Singaporean company, through which JBIC is financing the LNG terminal in the Philippines. So in the sense, that data includes the indirect financing. Thanks.
Thank you, Hiroki, for that. Do we have other questions? I think we have one in Japanese. I'm so sorry. If we can get the translation on that. Yeah. If there are any other questions, you can use the Q&A function.
May I raise a question to you? Just to send to Japan to those who we talk to, those employees of the JBIC employees there. They are not so listening, I think. When we go there, they are just nodding. They're just staring at us. Yet they don't describe any words or things that they must do. I'd like to say, please hear us. Please stop their financing LNG here in the Philippines. It will not good for us. It will not good for all Filipinos, not for me, but for my siblings, for the next generation to come, for all of us, for all living things and non-living things in this planet. Please stop financing fossil gas or LNG, liquefied natural gas, in the Philippines, especially in Batangas region.
Thank you, Kasimot. Thank you so much for that powerful message. I think it's really a good ending to all the Q&As that we have, reiterating the demand from the communities, from the fisher folks who are firsthand experiencing these impacts in their day-to-day lives, and sharing this to everyone who's here in our webinar. We hope that not only this our allies, and also to the other people who are here, we need to listen to the communities on the ground. And I think it's Kete. Kete, you're raising your hand.
Yes, I just raised my hand to join the appeal that Maximo was did, because here in Mozambique we also ask JBIC to stop financing this kind of project, because the funding this is funding the poverty, is funding the violation of human rights, is funding the destruction of the environment, is funding the destruction of our culture and our tradition, is not considered our ways of living. And especially when they want to bring a model of development for us, while communities already have their ways of development. Let's start considering the ways people are already living. Let's start to financing the ways communities and the traditional culture that we already have, because this is the way we are going to really develop, consider people. Let us find a model that consider people, that look to the person, that consider the culture and tradition. And in this way, we will find a better way to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Kete. Thank you so much for that message. Again, we thank every one speaker who's been able to share their messages and to share their stories. We have heard many stories about how devastating these projects are and have impacted the lives and livelihoods of many communities around the world. And I think from the last two speakers that we had, it is very important and it is time for JBIC to listen to this powerful voices, and they should take immediate action to end its fossil fuel financing across the world. Before we end today's webinar, we'd like to share some resources to amplify our call to JBIC and the Japanese government to end its fossil fuel financing and move towards a fair and just renewable energy. I'll call on my colleague Hiroki from Friends of the Earth Japan. You're on mute, Hiroki.
Let me share the screen again. Yeah, I hope you can. Everyone can hear me now. Do you hear me now?
Yes,
Oops.
we can hear
Okay,
you.
great, great. And also, do you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Great, thanks. Before we conclude, I'd like to share a few resources. I already shared that in the chat, but first, alongside with the report, we are launching a new website. You can learn more about project with photos, videos, and interactive map of JBIC finance project around the world. And the interactive map looks like this, looks fun. And each country page looks like this. So please visit the website by the link we share in the chat. We also share the petition in the chat. The petition, oh, this is, by the way, how it looks like in Japanese language. And the petition demands the Japanese government not to finance fossil fuel projects. So please join in that petition to make your voice heard. We also have tweets to share so that you can amplify the report and the message. And we share that link to those tweets as well. So please share them. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ange.
Thank you so much, Hiroki. You can see the links on the chat, so you can explore the website, share our tweets on JBIC, and amplify our demand to JBIC and the Japanese government to stop fossil fuel financing. Again, we thank you for joining us in this 1 hour and a half of your day. Thank you for participating in this, and thank you for all the speakers who have given their time, going from their homes to also traveling just to get into this webinar. We thank you, everyone. This was very wonderful to hear different voices across the world and a very powerful message to send to JBIC and Japan government to stop their fossil fuel financing. We hope you have a great day ahead, and see you all next time as we continue to demand JBIC to stop their fossil fuel financing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a nice weekend. สวัสดีครับ Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.